one. I got one. Oh,
Traitor.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, 7, 8, 10. Okay, so 10 votes for Pat Buchanan.
10 votes for Pat Buchanan. Yeah. Okay. Now those who came to hear Heather Ramsdell read, please raise your hand.
Yeah! 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Okay. Alrighty.
Well, I guess that means that Brenda is the defeat.
I counted more for Brenda.
Then we're going to split. Okay, we're going with the good old Americans. George Washington will decide. Okay, call it in the air.
There you go.
Head.
Head.
Head for what?
All right, you read first.
I'll tell you what. Why don't we have...
We could just go out.
Alphabetical order. We're going to have Brenda read first.
Excellent.
Brenda Coultas. Yeah. Brenda.
No, I don't know why Douglas is leaving. I think Douglas can't be here.
Every time. Unlike...
Are we done with the introduction? We're done with the introduction.
I always stand in the doorway anyway.
Okay. Do you have anything you'd like to say about Brenda?
Oh, I thought you were just bringing her up.
Oh, I was going to say the little acrostic.
Okay. Well, then we'll introduce her.
I first met Brenda walking down the street. I was wearing a lovely hat. She thought the hat looked very, very large on me, and then later wrote a poem about a very small man in a very big hat. And even though the poem didn't make me come off very good, nobody knew it was me, so I didn't feel bad until just now when I told you all.
Go find yourself a seat. You can sit there. Next to, what's wrong with Sharon?
Obviously something.
So Brenda Coultas is she's the author of early films and this delightful limited edition Boy I. And I picked this up to look at it earlier today, and I read this like a year ago when I first got it, and out of where I fell this, which you had nothing to do with. It's a picture of John Travolta. But on the flip side, it's this letter that I wrote to you after reading it that I never sent.
You read a picture of John Travolta?
How did I... You're not paying attention. Stop talking.
I wrote this letter and then ended up using it as a bookmark back in the book instead of mailing it to you.
Oh, yeah.
It's Dear Brenda, have I sent you praise for Boy I? Its olive green ink matches my turtleneck today, not today, but a year ago, and I believe may hold inside itself the instruction for how to make all clothing and all love objects, the responsibility to see the differences between busy work and important work, the two kinds of paperwork amid the genes, the relics, the vestigial sights and objects, gives your book something of the magic of nursery school show and tell, where everything is awesome. It plumbs the murky depths and sits there gleaming at the bottom of the ocean is what it does. Thanks for making it. Love, Brenda. And then I wrote this acrostic this afternoon after rereading Boy I, based on the words in it and on Brenda Coultas' name. Began this way. What does that say? Oh, began this way. Rocketed home in a silver eye. Noise exists, dormant. A long time. A tree. Contrast three things on all his pictures. Utter lies and small fossils. Transcript of our social alphabet. Stones from the sea. It saw the last formations. Brenda Coultas.
Hi, everybody. Hi. such a long time getting up here. And it's great to see everyone. I'm a total wreck tonight. I don't know why. It's
We
just...
love you, Brenda.
Oh man. Let's see. So I think I'm going to read for about 25 minutes. Is that enough or longer? That's about a good amount of time, isn't it? Oh, and I also wanted to say that both Heather and I have work in the new conjunction too. Just FYI. This is an unsuccessful poem, but I thought I would read it anyway. Sunset Park, Christmas. It's Christmas '97. The sidewalks reek of sugar and fat. In a neighbor's window, Mrs. Claus carries a candle, moving it dully from side to side. The stocking is hung for Cujo the dog, his name written in glitter ink and nailed above a manger that embodies all fetish objects, candles, prayer cards, memorials, coins and dollar bills lay under the small Christ. A wire mesh protects the money behind a window grate. Two angels are trapped, sadly rerouted in mid-flight to Fifth Avenue, crowded with wonder and fear. Foil garlands hang over the streets. Local gangsters tag the storefronts with big initials all blobbed together. A dealer shot through. His tattoo of a panther over his heart dies in the snow, face down in a Tommy Hilfiger jacket. The calliope plays Silent Night, sounding rich and buttery, and the words writ really large saying Tommy were shining in the night's new snowfall. A cut-up poem. This is from, actually, Douglas, you should have asked me about thesis statements, because that's all I talk about all the time, actually. But this is a cut-up of answers to a quiz I gave my students based on the story of the lottery.
Here's your first one.
Old ragged wood box with big latch. Death by stoning. They killed her. The lottery in June will help crops grow. But she was picked to die for the crops. Old wooden black box. A brown cardboard box with an opening on the top. It's not fair that people have to die. The prize you get is a black dot. You get stoned. Old wooden box torn and held up with tape. The oldest man in town. Lotto man. What is the prize? He is the oldest man in town. The box is wood or glass. He is the town's leader. They killed her. The way you were selected by lottery. $100,000 soon. The corn. It isn't fair because Tessie thinks he drew too fast. What is not fair? What does the box look like? The box is black, worn to show the wood. The black box is made of wood and painted black. Lottery in June grows more corn soon. Lottery in June will grow very soon. Your life is over in vain. Death. Death. Wasn't he the farmer? It's not fair that she got the slip, so she got hit with stones and died. Fresh grow corn soon. crops will grow soon that she's going to die. It is a black box. Him not winning the lotto. Undertaker. Old man Warner, he ran the lottery for a year. The lottery in June, the harvest some soon. You get hit with a bunch of stones and it kills you. Him not winning the lotto, that she has to be stoned to death, to die. Not fair. Don't throw anything. We have to.
Wow. That was heavy.
That was sure.
Excellent seats available over here.
We were hoping you'd leave.
I gotta go close the curtain.
Then I have two things from when I wrote when I was a sophomore in high school.
About those who
Don't worry, I got the picture.
Brenda and Douglas said that.
I had scribbled it all out, and my mom had saved these. Every family has its hereditary hand-me-downs. I thought ours was just bad backs and scratching your chest, until Friday night when my sister got home from her date. She kept bragging about how much milk she could drink. So to challenge her, I drank a cupful myself. We could have gone all night, except I didn't want to go too far and get started on milk of magnesia. Now I know why my mother gets up in the middle of the night. I see her singing them tune to those milk commercials on TV. My grandma says she's got to have milk, just like a baby. My cousin Tim drinks milk more often than Mark spits. He doesn't care what pain he puts those cows through. Now I know why we save dairy coupons, trade them in for a cow. I don't know what we'll do if there's a milk shortage. Who wants to chance a goat? And here's another one. One more. And I've changed somewhat since that time. What can I say? I just read The Outsiders. I don't know if I can recover from it or not. My teardrops mark at least 4 pages. Mom's washing the dishes, all in the family, competing with Hee-Haw. Elaine's taking a bath, Peggy's somewhere next door, Kenneth and Dad eating in the kitchen, and I'm in the living room carrying the world on my shoulders. Mom's always leaving the door to her room open, letting in all the cold air. I have to shut it all the time and then turn down the thermostat. Right now I'm going to high school. I'm a sophomore. I always hated that grade because if you're a freshman, you're just starting out. When you're a junior, you're in the prime of your life. And when you're a senior, you're already deciding your future. That's when the world is opening up new doors. But a sophomore is just plain old boring and super dumb. I know I'm a pretty decent kid, and Elaine just paraded through here wearing old blue jeans and a dish rag turban on her head. Like I said, I'm pretty decent. I'm a Christian, 5'6" and 120 pounds. I also hate Democrats and TV. I'm leading a revolt against TV. Life is too short to sit around and watch someone else live it. I love Democrats. Okay. So, and here's a piece from this summer called The Cat Situation. A second set of newborn cats born and abandoned. She had them in a cat carrier right outside kitchen door where the flies are. Mom said that the flies will lay eggs on them and they will die from the parasites or will starve. None of the cats will claim the kittens, and all of the female cats that we can observe are pregnant. Last week, the black and white cat had 4 kittens in the abandoned Toyota. She didn't clean them off, refused to watch them, and by morning the hind legs had been eaten off of one. Of course they were all dead, a sad relief, but that was 4 less kittens to tame and get rid of, and now the black and white cat can be neutered. In my parents' time, they just shot them or put them in a sack and tossed them in a creek. We used to drive by Little Pigeon Creek and see a floating bag of puppies or kittens. Folks did not invest in animals the way they do now. During the past 10 years, my parents began to take animals to the vet, animals who would have been cured by bullet. My father died Christmas night after a long illness, and my mother had let the cat situation get out of hand. They were originally 3 females that he rescued from a dumpster over a decade ago. They kept him companionship in the barn, which was their domain. No dogs allowed entry. They sat with him in front of the wood burner in the winter. There are 17 cats as of this writing, mostly half-feral, defined as can be touched while eating or just brushed with the hand without running off or snarling, and 5 of them are female kittens too wild to touch. The kittens survived. Mom had gone out in the night and placed cardboard over the carrier to keep the midnight rain out. She said that the mother had returned. This morning she found a new kitten with the afterbirth the size of the kitten itself attached to the end of the umbilical cord. I snipped it off. Later in the week, in the time it took for me to walk to the barn and back, 1 kitten was shook to death by an unknown tomcat. The others had also been attacked. We waited for their mother to return. Then we took them inside to nurse. They had internal injuries. The flies had laid larvae in the wounds. We spent the night nursing them with a special bottle and powdered formula, but none of them can swallow nor understand what I was requesting of them. The next morning we called a neighbor man to kill them as swiftly as possible. He had offered to kill unwanted cats and dogs for the old farm ladies, since in this last year that entire generation of husbands had passed away. I couldn't see making the kittens suffer another day, but could also feel how much they wanted to live, and I cried for their suffering. Later I pretended with the curtains closed in his room that he was asleep. Also felt him so much present that I didn't miss him, and I knew him because I knew my own body and emotions. I was a part of him, a splinter of DNA. Day ended with me, Mom, and sister sitting outside kitchen door. Butterfly landed twice on my finger. And then I'll go to the Bowery project, which everybody knows I've been working on for a long time. And there might be some funny parts. The rat in the flower pot. The rat was lying under the window beneath the shards of my flower pot and cactus plant on concrete. Some of the shards were on top of the rat. I have some plants on the windowsill 1 floor up and often find the roots dug up, flower bulbs stolen. Thought it was a squirrel. Maybe it was this rat. He was heavy, obese. Maybe he fell and then the pot landed on top. The little water dish was still intact on the ledge. Maybe the fall killed the rat. Could a rat climb a brick wall 30 feet up? Why would a rat eat roots with so much fresh garbage on the ground? Could a squirrel have knocked the pot off the ledge just as the rat was walking underneath? What are the odds of the squirrel offing the rat? I couldn't quite put the narrative together. Then I was drunk and still. I could not solve the situation. June 2nd. New machine on street, red body and silver feed chute. I studied it. Someone said it was June 8th. 2001. Walking on the Lower East Side. I'm a life-size rag doll strapped to my master's shoes dancing salsa in the subway. I'm naked in camouflage paint as a minor detail in a mural of Selena. I'm a brick from the former 5th Street squat. I'm a flattened cobblestone you can't see because of the trompe l'oeil. Look at me, I'm a puffy white cloud, and now I'm the letters of smoke from a skywriting plane. Brenda. Remember your transformation into a public character and your plans to enter public space. Your design is to sell whatever the street yields, the valuables, and to buy stories. Old man Yerby, my grandpa, was a public character in his own grocery store, coal stove, great big brass cash register, and glass candy case. Inside were bonbons, 4-hound candy shaped like bacon strips, stick candy in a jar. He spent afternoons in a lawn chair by the meat case, cutting bologna, making onion salad in a cup, and swatting flies. His dog was public too, Minnie Yerby, who wore glasses, sat upright, smoked cigars, and made change. My whole tribe nation on my mother's side, my grandpas and uncles, were all public characters. They named our village after us, Yerbyville. You could just say your name and say, put it on credit. You could just say, I'm a Yerby, and be on your way. Then my parents had a country store, the Midway Market, and we went by my father's name. We were the public Coultases, living in full view of the school bus, doing homework and drinking pop in lawn chairs in our place of business. I thought marriage would be my most public act and performance, or my baptism, or once when I had taken an oath to defend the public, or when I was a Girl Scout pledging to do my best to honor God and my country, and once when I was in the newspaper because I was a welder and a fashion model, and then I got stalked, and once when they used to call me Puppy Coultas. Bum stash, early 21st century. The lot had been emptied by the city police who put up a new fence and padlock and took down the trees and crops and replaced soil with gravel. This year, some crops pushed up again. Objects returned, this time under plastic. A low, long stick of furniture with 9 drawers, one missing, a yellow mustard color. Someone built a lean-to of mattresses, not steady, and positioned a hubcap to shelter a plant from sun. Someone collected the brass number 5, strung it on a wire, and someone added a brown chipped water pitcher. Later observed in secret a man with magenta hair adding objects he found on the street. I saw him setting on a broken rowing machine and then on a broken stationary bike. The exercise equipment rested on the gravel. When he left, he locked the gate with his own working lock. Bum stash tore apart, lean-to pushed over. Same objects, but did the police or the magenta men tear it all down? Lot cleared and new gravel laid down, an orange shopping cart chained to fence. Orange shopping cart unchained and rolled to the street corner. Miniature box pie and particle board inside basket. 2 white 70s appliances. On one corner, washer with an oval window in the door. Laundry inside with brown mold. On the other corner, dryer. No one can write much nowadays because it takes money. In the 70s, people wrote all the time, and now we don't have room to lay it all out. So lay out parts at a time, pick them up, and then lay some more. I iron and bake that way, and try to think of things to do for money, crochet and knit, sell blood and hair, pick garbage for copper and aluminum. When my husband left, I thought I could start to lay it all out, move it around, until an alchemy took hold. So I laid it all out, 2 Super 8s, a 35 millimeter, found photos, books of the Bowery, poetry, and there was lots of poetry, artifacts, flattened bottle caps, rusted cans, early tin cans, many interesting screws and bolts, sometimes found machines in green enamel, and sometimes bobbins and threads. I laid it all out, stared at it, moved it, talked to myself about it, read it all again, waited, nothing happened. I put it all back. Bowery mind. He said it too, a man in a book about the Chickenmore hotels, a mantra I'd been saying all along in my head. When they tear down the Bowery, when they implode the Bowery, when they blow up the Bowery, when they demolish the Bowery, when they revise the Bowery, when they renovate the Bowery, when they deconstruct the Bowery. He said they suffered from Bowery mind. The residents never expected to spend the remainder of their lives in single rooms, each taken up by a long narrow bed and hot plate. I said to my husband, we will live in this apartment, these 4 rooms, for the rest of our lives. This is where we grow old together. We will never be able to live anywhere else. We'll never have the money or time to find another place. I am 42. At first it made me cry, and then later it was very satisfying to say, this is the bed, the room, the place I would die in. It settles the mind. People think it's tragic to be old in New York City, but maybe it's just tragic to be old any place. Once people moved away from farms and came to cities, all saying, this is what I did for prosperity. Along came me saying, this is what I did for poetry. A lot of people came here all at once. This is how and why my tenement exists. A man lying in a prone position on sidewalk outside vacant lot. The lot was covered in white poison. The bottles had been getting tall. I could imagine a bottle village or other folk shrine. Even Mennonites in Illinois have a building made of fresca bottles. The glass was rising up to the top of the chain links like a transparent pool without swimmers. He said he was once the most powerful drug dealer on the block and go fuck yourself. I saw him later carrying around a strange sculpture difficult to describe because there was no comparison to it in the natural world. Man carrying a deflated blow-up doll in basket said he would wash it and hang it on the wall to make a statement. Collecting graffiti tags said he's going to make a coffee table book. In bodega, a man said with body language, "Give me 3 numbers and I'll give you 3," in reference to lotto. We both lost 33 million. Man with huge flopping boil on neck. His hands were empty. A man carrying a cross and cane wearing earphones. Some might say that all I've done is stack up a heap of objects. Some will say it's all been done before and that others have done better, but still I stack things up. I don't think about it. I put blinders on but hope that through accumulation they'll form a pattern out of chaos. I've stacked up twigs one by one, building a structure, weaving and shaping, forming a skeleton out of raw garbage transformed into beauty, maybe with something to say to any Bowery resident or reader of poetry. Please, I'm intentionally writing this for you and me. Glass Beach. Tide was in and so looked at tree line of the landfill, could see bottles embedded in the roots, glass shards and garbage compressed to a great density, so as to become brown matter. I could see whole bottles that would be free in time and pulled one out. It had a brown liquid in it. Became entranced, curious if this was the original content, or was this just rotten seawater? A newspaper from the 1940s was lying on some wood, intact except for the edges. In fact, so fresh one could easily turn the pages. I wondered if someone had wedged it out from the roots, or had the waves worked it free. Some person who cared about such things as history had placed it there. In fact, there were other scavengers who worked the beach, silently setting aside vintage pop bottles and curiosities in a safe place for others like us. Picked up 2 toy guns, inkwell, small brown, 2 white cold creams, went home. We spoke to a man scratching the sand with a stick for marbles. He knew the history of this place, said it was a horse rendering plant, and indeed on the map it said Dead Horse Bay, and it had been a city dump that became a town composed of the dump's employees. Then the city closed it down, stating that it was too toxic to live in. Now it was an unmarked stretch of public beach that residents returned to regularly and bitterly. The old glass had a lot of lead and it gleamed. I tried not to be greedy and to take only what I could carry. Meanwhile, I left thousands. The broken glass tinkled in the surf, and if ever I were to believe in mermaids, this is where they'd be. I'm closer today. After the 11th. Were they ever visible from this street? Does it matter if I say they were visible from Houston and Bowery if they weren't? But most certainly they were. How little attention I pay to things outside my personal space. Never had a reason to think about them. Only used to wonder why I never took anyone there, and had meant to, but was scared of them. Thought it would come out in the writings like dreams or nightmares. It would manifest, and that writing it all down was important. If just to say, here's a document, very pretty and well written. Read about our reactions and grief. In my city were people and no ark to save them, just arms to carry them in. To say that I loved this city, a deeply flawed one, but to know that I did, and that my life might end because I couldn't abandon it now. And if ever I would leave it, it would be for nature. Nature would have to make up what I lost in culture. Although there is nature in this city, tame chunks of wood nearly identical, tied up in strings into a tidy bundle, or slender slices of wood gently laid down by trash can and wrapped in some cord and string of various textures and sadly, big bustling log beams and dumpsters to be hauled away. But some of it is wild. There are morning glories thickly growing on chain-link fences, locust trees growing out of rock, but human nature is what the city grows best. There are peddlers laying out books in rows on sidewalks or tabletops, very good ones, and shoes lined up by size and color. One peddler ran after us saying, "I will not be undersold." The merchandise pulled out of garbage, reasonably clean, ready to wear, and ready to read very good books. Man in turban wearing pen read, "I'm a Sikh, God bless America." Elbow pipe wood stacked, tied in bundles, 2 couches across the street from one another. One evening there appeared 7 dusty theater seats circa 1900s with a fleur-de-lis on one side. They were bolted to a piece of flooring. The backs were crimson velvet, and the leather seat cushions laid out on the sidewalk. The chairs stayed for 3 days and were soon joined by an 80s office chair broken into parts. I'd seen a website of haunted photographs with ectoplasm and orbs, and wondered what ghosts inhabited these chairs. What old Bowery asses once sat there? Later in same spot, gold Baroque chair, gone right away. Getting cooler at night, thought of how cold the workers' hands will get, how cold till they suspend the dig. 2 matching sofas with TV resting on chair. A day later, TV on sidewalk between them, and only the wooden skeletons of the couches remain. Later, man with bedrolls sleeping by wooden skeletons, and then 2 days later, a man sleeping inside them with his shopping cart beside him. TV screen cracked on ground, shell removed. Golden legless couch, early American-style 60s, where the cushions used to be the newspaper with a color photo of the president and a flag. November 7th. Phone rang about 3 a.m. No one online. Photo of Dad face down in hallway. The end.
Now is the time. Well, I'll just leave the room and Brendan will explain.
Thank you, Brenda. We're going to take a break. We're going to come around and hit you up for $4, which we're going to give to Brenda and Heather. That's what's going to happen. If you don't have $4, don't worry about it. Just, whatever you have is great.
Whatever you have.
If 3 or 2 or 1 or 5 or 8 or 20. Brenda, do you have any books? No. That you'd like? Your journal, maybe? Your diary? If you have $4, put $4 in that. You can take a look at one page of Brenda's diary.
When you do, I'll be back. Okay. For 20. Put it 20. I'll be back.
Try to go out and
Don't leave. You are leaving. Darren found it. Darren found it. That's correct. Darren found it. Darren found it.
I didn't know that Well, ladies and gentlemen, despite our best efforts, the long, dark summer vacation is at an end. He hangs his best thing. Click.
More of a snicker than a clip.
Back the peanuts. That kind of laughter really satisfies.
Isn't that David Cameron?
He
Joe
stopped-
Elliot,
he
please
stopped by-
direct your remarks to the podium.
I want to point out that Brenda Coultas just signed my copy of Boy Eye, although she very thoughtfully didn't sign it to anyone.
Oh, that's right. So that
no,
you
no,
go-
no. You can see. You can see.
Just in
see
case
with
you
your
want to
eyes.
resell it.
Exactly. I can take it as Strand.
eBay.
Thanks.
Well, here, why don't you turn the pages and I'll just look at them. I'll touch it. I'll see with my eyes.
We'll look at it. We'll look at it later on.
Look at it later.
Yeah, but it's beautiful, green. But now is the time to turn our attention
Yeah.
from Brenda to Heather Ramsdell. This has nothing to do with Heather.
Yeah,
Somebody
you're right.
handed me
I
that.
thought it was her book.
The latest issue of Jubilant.
Yeah.
I don't have a copy of her book with me, although
No.
she has several copies for sale, which
Several copies.
you may feel impelled to purchase at the end.
It's the
of reading.
award-winning book, isn't it?
It's one. Yeah, James Cate gave it double aces.
The big thumbs up.
Yeah,
Published by the University of Illinois.
yeah, the Illin Press.
Bad Sound Press, actually, from the University of Illinois.
I hear something whirring strangely. Yeah,
I think batteries.
my batteries are wearing down. Heather Ramsdell. Do we have any other announcements that we need to make?
Close the curtain.
Well, close the curtains is good. Remind me when after I've introduced Heather and left the podium area in shame. I will make sure the curtains are closed properly.
We don't have a problem.
Let's see.
Well, I first met Heather Ramsdell at at Double Happiness. No, at some other now defunct. At
Zinc Bar reading series.
the Zinc Bar reading
Right.
series when it was at the Biblios.
Biblios.
Yes, Joe Elliot. Do we know who he is?
Right.
Had scheduled a reading of someone, Heather Ramsdell apparently, and it was a wonderful reading. At the greatest line of poetry I have ever heard.
How did it go?
It said, "I like that hat."
Is somebody shaving with an electric razor?
Yeah, no, they are, but I'm not supposed to tell.
Okay.
Special. So,
Well, Heather read last year, or was it 2 years ago, at Double Happiness?
yeah.
And it was just fantastic
It was.
and devastating in all the right ways.
Yeah. That's why we're having your second, because in case they're devastated, they can just lay out.
We've had a couple years for
And the waitress will come in later. Okay, I'm going to now leave in shame. My head bowed. Because look, Sharon Mesmer has even taken my seat. She was unhappy somehow with my having sat there. I displeased her sitting.
Don't go away, man.
He'll,
Go away.
oh man! First you steal his seat, now second you steal his thunder. Heather Ramsdell. An acrostic in honor of her. Get it. Do I have to repeat what you're saying to get your attention? Douglas, the introduction is happening. We're trying to. Heather Ramsdell. Hair. Yeah, you were thinking, should we come? It's just 20 minutes. How bad can it be? It'll get much better in about 30 seconds once I'm over there. Heather Ramsdell, an acrostic, based on her triumphant book, Lost Wax. Hair will be venting according to logic and made less tourist, unable to hear the phone. There is only one way to return altered. Rocking A chair will be made less sound. Did I say enough of little or nothing containing light? We're moving. Heather Ramsdell.
Thank you for the banter. And it's really, really nice to be reading with Brenda. And thanks everybody for coming. I'm going to start by reading one of my favorite sections of one of my favorite poems by one of my favorite poets, George Upton. This is from Root. Words that are just. A simpler question. In the event, will you or will you not want to kill a German? Because in the event, if you do not want to, you won't. And my wife reading letters she knew were 2 weeks late and did not prove I was not dead while she read. Why did I play all that? What was I doing there? We are brothers. We are brothers. These things are composed of a moral substance only if they are untrue. If these things are true, they are perfectly simple, perfectly impenetrable, those primary elements which can only be named. A man will give his life for his friend, provided he wants to. In all probability, a man will give his life for his child, provided his child is an infant. One man could not understand me because I was saying simple things. It seemed to him that nothing was being said. I was saying, there is a mountain, there is a lake, a picture seen from within. The picture is unstable, a moving picture, unlimited drift. Still, the picture exists. The circumstances. This is a part from a bridge segment, point 8. Some agreed to trade their grief for a larger one. A carrot grows tiresome. Misery flies out by moments. It becomes possible to attend the banquet wearing charclothes and be mere, the one near the door of an ilk in a room of others. A stain as large as the shirt would go unquestioned. Sufficiencies, shouts, bass, laughter arise with the same uncivilized grace of a fox run laughing away with the bird. When the profound finally comes to surface, it refers to little trips to the store for milk with modesty, as of milk. Inch meal, a light bulb is exchanged for light, meaning the light at the edge of a table says the same amount as a face as the sound of a kicked shard in the street as a sentence. The verso of a violin having lost its front is sold for $5.50, denoting a music composed as an instrument to hurl at passers-by a song called Please, which goes if, and thus, and sings. The masters sing, there is no act but music, all good, and free wine for everyone, free laughter from the floor above, footsteps of excited preparation, nights, days. Elsewhere, the custom is drinks for an hour, fights for an hour, tears for an hour. Elsewhere, only tears, or the custom is tea without comment. A common laugh seems at first to delay the memorial service, then trucks go over steel pallets in the street. An air conditioner stops, then stops, relieving us of the future. Please do not force the evidence. We'll respond to no questions, beginning with I. Why? All the resuscitation, the long faces and decline. Let go of this. The end note resonates until the song gets taken up again. A dirge. containing... Can everybody hear me okay? Yeah. Right. Containing secret or special knowledge. That's one of the definitions of clairvoyance. At the curb, I pretend not to be able to see through the windows of the parked cars. I could see through the windows. There was nothing coming, not a car. I could see through the parked car windows that a car was coming, turning into music. I pretended not to see it, watching the sign read, "Don't walk." The inside of a car is a private place. You cannot see through. You can see people driving there who are plain. It is possible to wave at them. Other cars were moving toward the intersection where the lights swayed on their wires in heavy wind that also made the traffic signs sway. The people driving see each other in situations similar to themselves and understand, can communicate with, comment on, and do things to each other like turn in front of, stop suddenly. There is little to no danger. Nothing is there. Nothing is definitely. A car is there. Only now is it still far away. Stop the car there. Now I'm going to read some poems which some of you have probably already heard from Big Swimmers. And I'll also be reading a section at the end that is new work. That's also part of Big Swimmers. I'm putting the pads back. I'm moving them now. Can you hear this? Can you hear this? I think we have to add more pressure. Really a lot of pressure. Good. I'm stuffing them in now. I'm going to read for a second, but then we'll come back and we'll pick up exactly from here. Later we can smooth this out in the machine. Okay. I'm back. Am I back yet? When you can see me close in until you see the seam, I think for now we have to do this faster to smooth out the texture. It's getting pretty hot. I think the speed is almost ready. It will be ready in just 1 second. Can you see anything? I'm going to get much larger, and it will be slower at first, and then we will speed up faintly, and then it will break. So it's fine to start with soft music. I'm ready to start it. All right. The music is on. It's dreamy with organs and harps. I'm about to read off the list. It has all the information. We'll have to add it later. Apparently, we have to stop again. Something is touching me. The padding's doing nothing. It's useless. Hello? We may have to stop again. Call Greta. I'm calling Greta. I'm stopping the music. Greta? Discovery phase. Now I'm going to formulate some questions, and I would like you to answer them as honestly as you can so we can determine the best place to start. Would you like me to make them difficult, medium, or easy? Remember that no response counts as an answer, and all answers count. This may take a few minutes to start up at first, and then it will be a scenario, and will go quite fast. If you start to feel dizzy or sick, you can always escape by using the escape tool, which will turn down the lights and automatically engage the music. If you feel overwhelmed or experience crying or numbness, pause by depressing the pause key until we have switched safely into the shared area where I gain access to the controls. If you'd like me to help you defend your position, please say so. If not, it is all right to leave wrong answers. It will be difficult to get up each morning and try again, yet this is precisely what we must do. Answer, even if you think there is no answer. Swerving will place you in an equally difficult parallel channel where I cease to be your interlocutor. When you are lost, everything counts in the sign. Now, place your hand on her back. Now, struggle and shove him off. Please place flowers in this problem. Now, hang up on me. You enjoy the email function. Please match the following pages with money. Survey the crowd applying for more money. Make at least twice as much sense. Create 2 small cuts, each a 1/4 inch in length, so we can slide in secret money. Meet me for breakfast. See Healthy Quick Cook. Several uncomfortable minutes later, he, shirt, and she, pants, emerge bearing flowers. Place the flowers into 4 decorated egg cups. Okay, egg cups. Okay, flowers, and draw money in through the slots. Yes, I would like to have the classics brought into my home. Definitely check this box. Please bring money for this. Your name appears real big in this section. Flowers are appropriate for this. Tuesdays and Thursdays are good for this. New flaws. Next, food rotting within a safe context. First the food, then the flood in a sequence that is graspable and therefore comforting to us. Tucking Mr. Triangle into the blue field so that contingency replaces some personal debt. Because the replacing phase should start by then. As the mourning process courses through its phases, this plays out in the ideologies of other islands. And if the problem should spread wide enough to engulf us, and I show up in time to put an end to expectation, if they let me explain it as clearly as possible, plowing a fine path to future ills, not to emerge from the cube in the form of a star, probably not to emerge from the field of cubes ever, ranked according to importance, urgency, lateness, and scale, including rhetorical burlesques and the many degrees of sincerity, so that some listeners get certain parts of the point if nobody gets the whole thing. I will organize these questions into 3 big stacks, adding and erasing question marks as needed. In this way, the miraculous peels off and can be stuck to other things. I am very enthusiastic about this pile of rubble, waiting in a waiting room, swirled on a buff-colored rug. Enters the waiting room, completely empty, a paler rectangle of wall on the wall. Is this some kind of a door? What kind of a door is this? A box? Abstract? Again, a battering ram or large log to smash the door down, being able to see the sign on the wall, which lends scale, giving way to an optical trap until the eye itself stops. But the eye does not stop. The test stops. The eye keeps going until it hits the wall. The wall is big, plus reinforced, and so it is a good wall, but the eye stops caring. That is how it goes blind. The person attached to the eye, the person cannot close to escape the self, not just stop saying I, not asking for a door, not speaking to the door, not opening the door before thinking only of doors. It can go no further. It cannot escape the literal. The subject can always be found out. The subject blinks. A sign above the exit lit up, telling us what to do if we had to ask questions, to point, to clap, and laugh. When the sign said the words for these, we did. First answer. It's possible to identify potential problems in this model, but difficult to express them as sets that retain their meaning in the context of ordinary life. Thank you for saying pathos instead of pathetic, keeping us the same size as before. A picture choked down to a dot that stays. In staying, suffers. In suffering is subject to brief instances of wakefulness, inflicted as we go along. Not to forget how to get back, once here before we move again, but when I got the chance to say it, it was late. Against hard effort, answers slip from oblivion, suddenly obvious falling glass, before a catching gesture, close as clothes drawn tight against next breath, before the hand, now quickly dust, capable of being blown away to join the mass, the rest of the names accidentally removed during restoration. Not to forget how to get back, once in to enter again, as same or similar, unscathed, exactly as we were. And wrapped his body in gauze so it would be protected. Rubbed the gauze with camphor, fat, and lime to warm and preserve it. And let his foot stay out, including an additional arm, wrap them accidentally together, omitting our mouths as the mouths would be useful for other things, to agree to or join in, afraid to be discovered or replaced or improved upon with half a ball, with half a head, one ear, speech half in code, depending on how we hold our head, hearing half of the story with that ear, ignoring the rest with the others, sad to be so ineffectual and so otherwise eligible. Later we will tear ourselves in half, we will have our hairs exactly, we will have already split our throat down the middle. Stay, stay, stay. The car starts, drives away, taking part of their bodies away. It then was just the scenery and intention infecting the future. The bodies sped toward but never really met the future. As soon as they approached the end, they stopped. Soon they stopped, and the intention sped away. The bolting deer mannequin has a realistic cornea in its eye where the hunter is captured, backward and upside down, satisfied, shoulders, neck, and head relaxed. The bolting deer mannequin is startled and is bolting away, but has an offset sweep to the head as if the deer is giving one final glance back at you. You pussy, you pussy. What did you touch me for? Because you're a pussy? Why are you a pussy, you pussy, you pussy? In repetition, minor violences grew more blunt and less precise. A violent act about something? This is a clock. This is a line. I'm trying not to touch the people near me with my bag to make the experience less annoying for them, avoiding touching them in ways they were unpleasantly expecting to be touched. I am trying to make myself an example of moving in crowded places, to disappear completely into the motion of getting a ticket, shedding the person to become waiting to move toward the ticket. I am hoping to improve the overall environment in this non-invasive way. Standing in front of a large audience, saying nothing, asking them if I am making any sense by way of abstract terms like system and model and center, and the good news is plenty for those who feel the words are meant to shut them out. From then on, everything can be converted into an event isolated from the flow. Several pieces fit with two or more, most matches on one side, messing the other side up. It seems they are eventually all supposed to fit, with none left out and no space, each in its place, each trapped. Escapes and accidentals. Hand-propped, waiting for a better end. Not dust on the violin, or hair on the violinist, or on the lens, or dust in the mouth of the speaker, or from the mouth of a dream waking into plate glass fell, and difficult depth appeared. Taking out the connections, depth appears in a stone. A garbage bag in a parking lot flags open in the wind of the otherwise still seen past the chain-link fence, extending the plane of the figure. The figure, once completely sealed off, free to stay or to leave and come back. So being, she begins, climbs the stairs to her home, prepares a kind of meal out of canned beans, longing for the lives depicted in the magazine, lamps, furniture, windows, future parts of the room outlined in dots so its inhabitants could move freely in and out. In and out. In and out. In and one of the many evenly spaced holes lining the thing closed up. She wanted to live there and made it sound prettier in her description than she knew it to be. Flaws were flowers thrust into the crack between seeing and ignoring, wastebasket and wall, between two ideas, two parts of speech, adornments neither fixed nor reparable. This last section has new work in it, and it's called To Rescue Us. Here is a unit. The unit and another, the same kind. Suddenly we have a brick containing everything that a brick is, which we begin to work with, and outgrowing our need to question it, use it as is, to build more complex things. The subject crashes in to formalism's nest, which cannot hold us anymore. We cannot say who we are, into dust, with a space for comments, with well-crafted works extending toward, not ever reaching it like bliss in glass. In its reflection, even an astronaut seeing it absolutely there, which we can also see, that is coming at top speed to rescue us, for which whomever still is eligible waits. To have been present is to have to make corrections later. In the opposite of rescue, waves radiate in this reflection. Even an astronaut seeing this rise fiercely sinks back, being in, not of the earth, being astronauts in suits with candles standing to be photographed together by the satellites of, not in the satellites, that riddle. Being revolving in the church of, in the beat of, in the lost count in, 11 to 7 commitments, muscular efforts set of words for us, for helping us, of help, transforming the belief like red and clear waves radiate and are contagious. In touching the wound is the wish to believe it, to possess touching it, but do not say that. That consolation, promise, that a fire, a resolution which is withheld, because to withhold is leaving, not or is indelible. If we are crushed, each one of us is, not or, not ever having seen its face, the area where its face would have its shiny eye reflected in the searchlight, in the dimmed marquee, in Christmassy luminescence, into the future's dumped shine. Beyond the dictionary stand trees made out of light, in a comforting hardness of sight, but it falls off from there, the light falls, and the leaves in a helpless parade will not make sense. This is the last fresh air. This is the last comfort in time, through which sound squeaks, attempting to speak from a dream, completely obvious from there, small sirens on TV and images reflected on the windshield of a passing van in blue explosions noiselessly presented to us as fleeting as we are, in plume, in flame of the building. Not even sound gets in. The building's ashes. The wind is portrayed, a plastic bag caught on a branch. The phone rings. After it is dark and the desk is clear, it rings. I am the only one able to hear in this sequence. It is possible to make out qualities, each of the painstakingly gathered, heaped at the side of the road. A lawnmower going over something hard in the grass also works its way in. It's as present as us, as solid as us, as effective as us. We hear the thing fly off, but not hear that it hit. Also, water pings in a metal bowl, in which a shred of lettuce slowly swims. Also say the bag and say the hair and the sun. The bag falls on the ground. The hair waves in the wind. There is hardly any other color by which to say with certainty the color of this is blue or is clear. Goes up to it, wades into it. Disbanded, the droplet falls. Other things fall, and the very casual nature of it is alarming. It is red. She kneels down, since walking would bring her no closer to the truth. Since waiting would bring her no closer, she walks away, intending to return, of course, to fix it later, leaving everything exactly as it was, but not coming back. A new sore, when the previous one is mostly healed, appears to demonstrate the passage of time. All of the neglected things stay still. A different man is the example provided to demonstrate this glitch. You, and a glitch stabs through, as the water had, if there were water, were the individual droplets, such as tears as interchangeable, was supposed to be a large body, was a faucet, a pressure, was a wave. A wave arches and shatters and heals back up into a darker color, slightly shinier in texture than the rest of the skin. The hair follicles are undisturbed. The hair quietly grows. The hair grows a new hair. Thank you.
Heather Ramsdell and Brenda Coultas.
Thank you, Brenda Coultas and Heather Ramsdell.
And thanks to everybody for coming. Come back next week for
Lauren and Kampura, Eric.
Eric Selland,
I did 3 names, you do 3.
Eric Selland, and Kyle Connor.
Kyle Connor, direct from Philadelphia.
Lauren Akampora, direct from her Greek lineage.
In the East Village. And Eric Selland, direct from San Francisco, I've heard rumor.
It's true, perhaps, that you heard that. See you next week.
Have some more drinks.
Buy some books from Heather or come and ask Brendan about Lungful magazine.
If you like what you heard, you might tolerate this magazine.
That is heard from Brenda and Heather, not from us.